Everyone. I'm ready to get right into patch 2.5. It's right where we left off yesterday. Anyway, last time we finished off everything that was happening in Coerthan, at least for the time being. And so now, I believe our attention is solely in Mor Dhona, and we kind of heard whispers about, Midgardsormr, so maybe we'll learn more about him. I'm not really sure what happens exactly as it happens. Moenbryda's research is proceeding as planned? So she tells me, though I am not familiar with the details. Riol is poring over his tomes at the waking sand, and the others contribute in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will remains unsolved. Soapy, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alphino and his brave in theirs? It would do so much to restore the faith in the immortal flames if the warrior of light was seen working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways those more tightly bound organizations and nations cannot. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend to before my departure, such as receiving Riol's latest report. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish to keep secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate Ul'dahn riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. So Riol is interesting, because he is a former member of the Company of Heroes, the company that, formerly took down some of the primals, I think before the calamity. So he's somebody who is absolutely a friend of Eorzea. And honestly, probably one of the best allies that we probably shouldn't have even got in the Company of Heroes, or in the Crystal Braves. So yeah, his role going forward will be interesting to watch, I think. Right then. Me and mine been making inquiries in the source of the weapons what found their way in the refugees' hands a way back. So happens we caught wind of something promising, a rather large purchase of sharpie and pointing things by a black marketeer holed up near High Bridge. I doubt this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have his clients waiting. Clients that, for whatever reasons, would prefer this transaction to remain secret. Brings to mind that merchant that caught an arrow while talking to Soapy, don't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind, but you want to be sure it might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? He's from Limsa, so he talks crazy. Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What do you say, Soapy? I just want to kill him. Then it is settled. Rendezvous with the Captain Ildred at the High Bridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you excuse me, I must leave for Ul'dahn. I expect good tidings. I hope you're right. Ah, Soapy, my scouts have been keeping a close eye on the black marketeer, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard, common thugs of no consequence, but they nevertheless pose a threat. Even so, I feel compelled to apologize. This is far beneath the man of your standing, and Commander Levier needn't have you dispatched hither. But powerful men ever have need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, 'tis only natural that he would come to rely upon you, without hesitation. Now then, we should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure that the clients do not escape. With me, Soapy. With you, Ildred. I spy the one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. While you approach the sentry and create a distraction, my men and I will slip past and catch the black marketeer unawares. Once you've disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let us be off. Good luck, my friend. I don't understand. What was this all about? Ah! Hmm. Oh, Elbird. As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out. But before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard and bring an inexperienced recruit. Commander Levier would be most disappointed. Damn it all, a golden opportunity wasted! As for the clients, though we know not how they slipped past our perimeter, at present the first is currently tracking a party of dusk-white sellswords we suspect may be them. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the Immortal Flames or the Brass Blades. Alas, we're here to aid them. They're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least we have secured the weapons, yet even that accomplishment is lacking. I will join the first in their hunt for the dusk-white sellswords. If the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, I ask you to deliver these weapons to Ul'dah in my stead. Entrust them to the third Yu-Hase. He will take care of the rest. Is Yu-Hase the same person that I talked to in Mor Dhona? Not Mor Dhona. Excuse me, in Coerthan? The Warrior of Light, ever reliable friend of the Crystal Braves. You have my deepest thanks for your assistance in Coerthan. Now what brings you to us this day? It is the same one from Coerthan. Glad they didn't die from their non-mortal wounds. A gift of weapons from a certain black marketeer, courtesy of Captain Ilberd, you say? Understood. Once we've cataloged the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. This cannot be everything, can it? Riol stated with confidence that there would be far greater quantity of weapons. A blatant falsehood. Clearly Riol is unfamiliar with the ways of Ul'dah merchants who ever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that his information was not completely erroneous, and that we managed to achieve anything of worth at all. Excellent work as always, my friends. Rest assured that the Immortal Flames will hear of your contribution. Until we meet again. There he is. Soapy, a word if you please. Not here. Look for me at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need for whistling this time, don't you worry. I was about to say, I mean, I really wasn't trying to bait anything by mentioning Riol earlier. It's just that, like, I hadn't found a better chance to mention that Riol is a very skilled dude and, like, very senior at that. Like, he's been around. It's just a little bit too poetic that maybe somebody would doubt him. There's really no reason to. He's not quite as celebrated, but he is a champion of Eorzea. Thanks for indulging me request. Few places better than the market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and bustle of commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the burning wall, when you and the captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything. Leave no detail out. I wasn't really even there. I only found the aftermath. That's not quite how the first told it. These dusk whites they were chasing. Latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw him yourself. Not before the fighting started, and not after? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in my bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boast, so our information was reliable, goddammit. I know we purchased those weapons. As if I've never deciphered a moneylender's books, tried to follow a transaction back to its source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking gil from the wrong sorts of benefactors. Of course, these days money flows like water and the first and third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, friend, I've lost my mind these days, and I appreciate you lending an ear. I have a lot on my mind these days, and I appreciate you lending me an ear. Let's get back to it. Soapy, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you are able. The Rising Stones, then. I gotta do my favorite trick. Or one of my favorite tricks. Go to Central Thanolin first. Report this guy for RMT activity.
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
Everyone ignored Moenbryda.
The Observatorium's Astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragonstar burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers. Not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
I actually understood that.
The old Coerthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragonstar is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The Astrologians believe that it was Midgardsormr himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Ariange has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragonstar portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgardsormr had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgardsormr. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept?
Sir Emric said that?
We knew you would not disappoint us. Now, if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
I want to fight a dragon. Riol, with me. Forgive me if I state aught which you already know, but I would ensure that you understand the nature of your destination. As Urianger stated, we can now call the Keeper of the Lake is the wreckage. What we now call the Keeper of the Lake is this wreckage of the Agrias, former flagship of the Imperial fleet, and corpse of the worm responsible for its destruction. 15 years ago, as the next step in his campaign to subjugate Eorzea, Gaius Van Belzar attempted to seize control of Mor Dhona. So massive was his force that all thought his victory a foregone conclusion. But an unlikely ally came to Eorzea's aid that day. Midgardsormr, legendary guardian of Silvertear Falls, burst forth from beneath the waters of the lake and led a host of dragons against the Garlean airships overhead. In what would later become known as the Battle of Silvertear Skies, the Great Wyrm felled countless airships before engaging the Agrias. In the ensuing struggle, the flagship's ceruleum engines failed and it tumbled into the lake below. Yet this victory came at a great cost, for the explosion which followed claimed the life of the Great Wyrm as well. That same explosion transformed Silvertear Falls into the desolate wasteland it is today, draining the lake of its waters and crystallizing ether from malms around. Yet a remnant of the lake remains, at its center a constant reminder of that fateful day long ago. In accordance with Sir Amric's wishes, our Doman allies have been standing watch over the Keeper of the Lake. It would be wise to speak with them before investigating the wreckage yourself. Alright, talk to the Domans then. So it's true then, the Ishgardians honestly fear that the worm might rise again. Well, from where we stand, it seems rather unlikely, but if it's assurances they want, you've no choice but to inspect the corpse in its entirety. Easier said than done, given the creatures which inhabit the wreckage. They're sure to fire upon an airship. So I advise a more stealthy approach. Take this boat up and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrias, then climb to the top. That's the only viable approach, I'd say. Keeper of the Lake. Oh, we got an Astrologian as a healer.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet?
He really is alive.
Thou hast forgotten the face of thy Lord. Remember, mortal, and fear me.
Limit that bitch. Nice, lots of poetics. I earned a player calm. Even though the back half of the dungeon wasn't nearly as good as the front half. From me.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve. Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided by a star. My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Seven children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end. Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent. Fear not, mortal. I shall not harm thee.
Part of the song is intense. And it's gone.
Mayhap thou thinkest me an oath breaker. Thou art mistaken. If thou comest to harm, it shall be by another's hand, not mine. I did but strip thee of thy mistress's feeble blessing. Thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more. The covenant binds me to thee. I shall watch, listen, and wait. Fight and struggle, if it be thy will. Man hath ever coveted that which lieth beyond his grasp.
Would not be nearly as long of a cutscene.
I drink of her body, and thence doth mine own find new life.
If he talked at a normal pace.
When it hath grown whole, the loyal and penitent shall reach Rejoice. The dragon song heraldeth our beginning and an end.
Praise the 12 that you are hale and whole. I came as soon as Minfilia informed me of Sir Amric's request. You would have completed your investigation of the Keeper of Lake, I take it? Then I would hear your report. Ain't good, dude. You conversed with Midgardsormr. I swear, were anyone else making such a claim, I would regard it as with considerable skepticism. Those words were ambiguous at the time. One statement left little room for interpretation. My people have heard the song, Ishgard shall burn. Clearly an attack is imminent. We must share this information with Sir Amric immediately. However, we dare not divulge your conversation with Midgardsormr in its entirety. To even acknowledge that you heard the voice of a Dravanian is grave but necessary risk. Lest we forget, men have been executed as heretics for declaring as much. For your own protection and for the sake of our tenuous relationship with Ishgard, the truth cannot leave this room. As for now, we shall present our revelation to Sir Amric's emissary. You may leave that to me. Pray remain here for now. Is there something you're not telling us, Sophie? You seem different somehow. 'Tis almost as if you're missing something. Something important. You broke my blessing, Minfilia. 12 for Finn. Midgardsormr stripped you of the blessing of light? Are you alright? How do you feel? Okay. I see. It is a relief to hear that you were otherwise unharmed. It beggars belief that any being could possess the power to deprive you of her blessing. Maybe Midgardsormr made mention of a covenant, did he not? One of the ancient myths regarding Silvertear Falls states that when the waters came into existence, so too did the great worm. Althik and Nimia, brother time and sister Fate, decreed that Midgardsormr ever watch over the source from which all water and magic was said to flow. I wonder, what if this was the covenant which he spoke, and 'twas not the gods with whom he treated, but Heidelin herself? Well, if he is watching over you as he claimed, mayhap you will have an opportunity to ask. Let us keep this matter to ourselves. I do not wish to burden our friends needlessly. I nevertheless fear that the Ishgardians are underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Midgardsormr who roared, a call to arms by one of the first brood cannot be ignored. Until such a time as they choose to request our aid, however, we can do naught. Ere I forget, I believe Moenbryda has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Ascians. Pray inform her that our business with Ishgard is concluded for the moment.
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian's soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sod who has to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve, and I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mor Dhona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea. I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mor Dhona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals. Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go.
Okay, you're a bagel.
Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Ascians will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a crystal brave, you are yet a scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you.
Hold on, I won't be a second. The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe. I know, as Urianger never tires of reminding me. An axe ill becometh the hand of a scholar. What can I say? I like axes. To hear my mother tell it, I came into this world holding one. And it's not as if it stopped me picking up a quill, is it? I often think of the man who introduced me to the joys of learning. He's one of the reasons I decided to come to Eorzea. Him and my excruciatingly stiff childhood friend. Considering how unalike we are, it's a wonder we ever got on. The world's a strange old place, isn't it? Aye, that ought to do it. So far, so good. At these concentrations, it shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. Just enough ether to make it interesting. Did you see that? The way the crystal glowed? The siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet, but I swear to find a way. I'll put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
He senses me. A useful talent.
An Ascian. Are they onto us?
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Sharlayan, keeper of knowledge, seeker of truth. Meddler.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well. But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath. Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales. And you have long been a thorn in my side. I suffered the overweening presence of Lahabrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Oh, bugger.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense. But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light. Oh dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee. Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal is broken. Now is the time to claim the staff. With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiac's right hand.
What did that bastard want with us? Nabriales, he calls himself. With charm like that, I'll bet he has maidens falling at his feet, unconscious. But this staff, you say just talking about it had the bastard grinning like a brat on his name day. Must be quite a staff. Oh, gods. He means Tupsimati, Master Louis Soir's staff. Minfilia's in danger. We have to get back to the Rising Stones.
Let's teleport.
You two.
So, you were able to divine my intent. What now, warrior of light? Ah, but that name is no longer fitting. You have become decidedly dull, and quite incapable of barring my entry.
What do you mean?
You truly do not know? Then I suppose it is only right that I enlighten you. The blessing of light kept you and your fellow meddlers safe. It was that which prevented my kind from entering your domain. My kind, I say, though it had no power over the likes of Elidibus and La Habrea. Being of this world, they could come and go as they please, while I could only look on. But I need look no longer. Now that the seal is gone, I mean to act. Unlike the others, I am not given to waiting. I shall take that staff and bring about the next rejoining.
Rejoining? Then it was your doing. The Isle of Val, the scholars, all of it.
You will not harm her!
Moenbryda!
Why must you insist on forcing my hand? Did you learn nothing from our last meeting? Ah, but I forget. My words fall upon deaf ears.
The staff is but a broken relic, a memorial to the departed. What possible use could you have for it?
What use? You mean to say that all this time you kept the key, never knowing what it was you possessed? The staff Tupsimati, or rather the stone tablet it bears, is host to a great power. Together with the horn, it can be used to draw vast quantities of ether from its bearer's surroundings. How else do you think Louis Soir was able to invoke the power of the 12 without making them an offering of crystals? Summoning requires not only prayer, but a profusion of ether. Even a child knows that.
If I did not know before, you may be certain I do now. But above all, I know that we cannot allow this staff to fall into your hands. I will die before I let you take it.
Insufferable woman. I would happily end your miserable life here and now. Alas, Elidibus would never let me hear the end of it. Very well. If you will not part with the staff, I will take you too.
Get her, Soapy. Alright, Kingdom Hearts fans, we got a Kairi situation. The organization has taken her.
After them! Quickly! Before the rift closes!
Think you're hot shit? Sideburns. Got him. I saved her.
You're safe. Thank the 12.
You may have bested me this day, but what of the next? What of all the days to come? Remember, light no longer holds sway here. I may return whensoever I wish, again and again and again. Eventually, you will falter, and the staff will be mine. Until next time, scions.
There will be no next time. This is the end.
What trickery is this? No. No! Cannot! No!
Use Tube Samati to gather ether. Quickly, before he breaks free! Concentrate! Call to mind the time you struck down La Habrea with the Blade of Light. Why won't it work? Is it because we lack the blessing of light?
Damn it. So much ether. And it still isn't enough. If only we had a bit more ether.
Moenbryda, what are you doing?
Master Louis Soir, I understand now the choice you made. In death, there is life. Farewell, Urianger. You damned old coot.
Moenbryda, no! You mustn't!
What? No! It cannot end! I am eternal! I am immortal!
Moenbryda. She's gone. You did it, my friend. The Ascian is dead.
She gave her life to temper the Blade of Light. I have no words.
Rather than await the inevitable, she took her fate into her own hands.
Does Oriange know?
My friend, there is something I must tell you.
I heard all, my lady. The moon sinketh, taking her leave of the heavens, yet her passing heraldeth the coming of a new day. Moenbryda hath fulfilled her destiny, hath she not? Long ago, far across the seas in the Sharlayan motherland, Moenbryda and I did study under the sage tutelage of Master Louisoix. Full oft did he impress upon us that knowledge existeth to serve the greater good. This sentiment, however, was contrary to the nation's policy of neutrality, which censured intercedence in the affairs of foreign lands. In spite of vehement opposition, he founded the Circle of Knowing, and journeyed hitherto the heart of Eorzea. Through his noble sacrifice was the realm spared its doom. Yet this great soul, whom all should rightly have honored, was branded a pariah in his own land. His peers did accuse him of forsaking his duty as a man of learning, and of meddling in the course of history. When he left Sharlayan behind, Master Louisoix gave no word to signal his intent to Moenbryda. Close as they were, as master and disciple, she was deeply wounded by the sudden exclusion from his confidence. Above all, however, she was confused. Try as she might, she could ill comprehend her master's motive. The slanders that were heaped upon him after his passing served only to inflame the turmoil within her. For years upon end, she knew not what to believe. Torn as she was twixt the man whom she revered and the man who forsook her and his duty both.
The Louisoix I knew would never forsake his duty, much less one of his own.
This I know full well, my lady. 'Twas not for want of love that Master Louisoix hid his intent. He but desired that Moenbryda discover her own path, free of the shadow of his influence. Long did I contemplate revealing the truth to her, and long did I hold my peace. After all, was it not Master Louisoix's wish that she come to the truth unaided? I told myself it was, and resolved to let her suffer. Knowingly did I deny my friend the comfort she craved. And now she hath gone to her rest. with doubt still in her heart. Speakest thou in earnest? Did Moenbryda truly come to understand Master Louisoix's will before the end? The realization hath set her free. She may now find the peace which hath for so long eluded her. Oh, Moenbryda, my dearest, how I shall miss thee.
And that's 2.5. Which means that next time we get to start with 2.55. Okay, but anyway, with 2.55, it will take at least 2 streams. So we have 2 more left. Instead of leaving and doing something dumb, I'll just end right here. I'll see you guys next time.